Here's the story of how I ran 5 kilometers each day for a month. As a kid, one of my favorite things was track and field day at school. This was the day that I lived for as a little student, and it was a day where we got to put the books away and we got to do a bunch of different fun events. But my favorite were the races. Oh, that was what got my heart pumping and my adrenaline high, and I loved it. The 100-meter races and the 400-meter races, those were my favorite. I remember just being so focused and, and really wanting to get at least in the top 3. So I've kind of always enjoyed running because of that, but it was always shorter distances. And even as I got out of school for a bit, I liked going on runs some evenings. They weren't really ever very long, or not much longer than a kilometer. So when my friend Joey asked me to be part of the 5K day for the month of May challenge, I said, sure, why not? What could go wrong? Now this challenge is put on every year by a man named Jeff Poland. If you sign up and you complete the challenge, he will send you a free t-shirt. A free t-shirt, yeah. So of course I was in it. I would do a lot of things for a free t-shirt. So I told some of my friends about it, and Joey told some of his, and together here in Ontario we had 7 of us that were doing this challenge. So the 7 of us started a group chat where we would post our times and say how the running was going and such. Of those 7 people, only 3 of us were not dads. So at the start of the challenge, in the back of my mind, I thought, this can't be that bad. If these dads are doing it, surely I can do it too. But as the challenge went on, and I looked at the times that they posted, I was blown away. These guys were super dads, and they were posting times way faster than mine. So I definitely had some ground to catch up on them. For almost all of my runs, I would run with my brother Serge and my friend Jaden. And this was huge. There was so many times where we'd finish a run and each of us would say, oh, I couldn't have done it without the rest of you. Thanks for pushing me. When all of us were thinking the exact same thing. So definitely one big takeaway that I noticed is that you can do a lot more when you're running with other people compared to running by yourself. It was definitely a lot of fun to get out and stay active like that. And around week 2 or 3, that's when things finally felt like a routine. The first 2 weeks were pretty tough, especially just keeping it in the back of your mind that, oh, I've got to run 5K today at some time. But around week 2 or 3, things really felt like a routine and they felt good. It was good to get out each day and run. Here are my 3 favorite takeaways from this month's challenge. Number 1, I did a lot of my runs in the evening here in my town, St. Clements. Well, this is my favorite place to run just because it feels homey. I would stage my runs out so that by the time I was finished my 5 kilometers, I would have a nice long stretch just to cool down and walk back home. And this was usually done in the evening, so people were usually out and about, and I got to meet a lot of my neighbors that I wouldn't normally meet otherwise if I had just stayed in my house. And I got to talk to a lot of them, and eventually I even got recognized as, oh yeah, you're that guy who comes running past here. So that was pretty cool. Number 2, running with other friends. This was a lot of fun, and throughout the month, there was other friends who knew that I was doing this challenge who said, hey, I'd like to go running with you sometime. So that was a lot of fun to join with them and just go out for an evening of running. And hopefully I can continue to do this one even though our challenge is over. Number 3, and this is the big one. The requirements for this challenge was that you had to either walk or run 5 kilometers each day. And we completed that one, we finished. However, on the last Saturday of the month, Jeff Poland had an optional Mayhem Challenge. For this Mayhem Challenge, you needed to do 5 kilometers every hour for 12 straight hours. So that puts you at 60 kilometers. That's a little bit of quick math for you there. So you had to do 60 kilometers over 12 hours. This was an optional challenge, and at the beginning of the month, I thought that whoever would do this challenge was completely crazy and would have no rhyme or reason whatsoever. A few weeks later. So on May 29th, 7 optimistic runners planned to complete 60 kilometers in 12 hours. Our plan was to run and walk from Milverton all the way over to Guelph. We would use the G2G trail and use the entirety of the Kissing Bridge trail. While our training process might not have been quite sufficient, our planning was down pat. With the help of the 7 guys, we had things figured out. One of the things that we wanted was for someone to come with a bike and a cart that was full of snacks and water and Gatorade and things like that, so that we could stay hydrated and fed along the way. So we got the best in the game. We hired fireman Micah to come along, and what a champ he was. He stayed along for 60 kilometers and he made sure that we were staying hydrated and that we had enough to eat along the way. We also had plans to stop for lunch. Lunch was provided by Max's wife, and boy, oh boy, was it ever amazing. Our snacks and drinks were excellently chosen by Lowell, and boy, he knew exactly what to pick. We had all kinds of different proteins and electrolytes to keep us going. We even decided to make our own t-shirts for this run. They look just like this. Special thanks to PK Sportswear for making them on such short notice. Here's some footage of how that day went down.
Note that most of the videos that I recorded were of us walking or under breaks, because trying to run and record is pretty tricky.
Let's go! Let's go!
Get excited, this is the day.
The day has come and we're gonna do our 5K every hour for 12 hours.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Legs are feeling better than ever.
Let's go!
And so the day begins.
Yeah. Bring it on!
Hey, it's part of the game.
Any last words?
Oh, buddy, this has been a good time. I'm just going to finish this one. You want to do it? It's been real. I've been good. Haven't been real good. I was just going to... Woo! You want to walk it off? No. We did it. Woo! Good. Well done, folks. Proud of everyone. I think I cut my goose. That was a good time. What a fun group of guys. I'd do that again.
My favorite part of the whole month was the end, where we ran 60 kilometers together. Being able to do this with a bunch of guys just made this a whole lot more fun.
Overall, this challenge was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I had such a good group of fun guys to do it with. While I was ready to be done running for the month, I'm looking forward to making this a habit. While maybe not quite every day, I hope to keep running up. It's an excellent way to get out, see new places, meet people on the trails, and just stay fit and active. Hopefully you enjoyed this story of how we ran 5K each day. And maybe, just maybe, you'll consider joining us next year for this challenge again. If not, we appreciate your support and your cheering us on from the sidelines. Thanks for watching the video, and let me know down in the comments how far you'd run for a free t-shirt.